Hey, what's going on? This is Colion Noir. And as someone who was taught to dream big and think big, I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys' dreams and aspirations?
I want to be the first African-American whose name is compared with, like, Travis Haley, Frank Proctor, Matthew Graham.
My dream to be a positive voice in the firearms manufacturer and show the world that the two-way lifestyle is just more than just bearing arms. It's a way of life.
Go back to school, get my high school diploma, and join the United States Marine Corps.
One of my main motivations is, to be an American, to live out the American dream. My family gave up almost everything to come here.
I can say one thing that drives me is legacy. What will my legacy be, and what good have I accomplished with my time here on Earth?
Just want to let you know my dreams and aspirations have always been to succeed and be able to provide for my family. What motivates me is seeing people that I came up with become successful and do great things for themselves and others. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing for my family.
So you know that more guns on the streets do not make you or your community safer.
4 people dead, and within the last 90 minutes,
believe that the everyday gun owner can be expected to make all the right choices in a dangerous
police confirming an increase in gang violence in the metro area.
They didn't find a single incident where the killing was stopped by a civilian using a gun.
Killed, 46 injured.
Kidding about this idea that we are being made safer.
This myth that the NRA spreads about a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy, it's almost never happened.
3 car bombs killed at least 90.
And now the terrorists warned that more attacks are coming.
Guns will not make Americans safer.
What is the president doing?
Come here illegally, commit a crime.
They have not gained
500 murders in 1 year.
Reality, the president dozens of protesters, some unbelievable.
At this point, 14 innocent folks are dead.
Continues to underestimate the threat that is posed by ISIS. Nearly 20,000 illegal immigrants. Here will solve 141 murders in the city.
A good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun just doesn't exist.
The Mossberg Pro Series, sporting. Gun that's great for shooting clay targets and anything else that flies.
You can shoot sporting clays, you can shoot skeet, you can adjust this backstock so that it will shoot high for a trap target. You can go after woodcock, ducks, pheasants, anything that flies, you can make it die with this gun. And most importantly, this gun will fit 95% of the people who ever pick it up right out of the box.
All Mossbergs are reliable. This thing's bulletproof. It's got all those internal parts that make it run great. It's got a new look with a new Cerakote tungsten finish on the receiver.
A family can buy this gun and they can hunt deer with it, they can hunt turkey with it, they can shoot clays with it. This one gun, the whole family can use because it fits the whole family.
So this is a gun based on versatility.
Oh, yeah.
So when will this be available for people to actually purchase?
It's available now. You can go on our website and click a Buy It Now button. There's
good to go.
3 different ways you can buy it right there. You can order it and have it shipped right to your gun dealer.
And after you buy this gun comes with a coach in a box.
Exactly.
The purchasers of this gun will be given 60 days free access to our Knowledge Vault website, which has just under 4,000 video lessons on it.
Well, guys, I really really thank you for taking the time and explaining this new gun, essentially. And I love listening to you guys talk, I really do. But you know what I like to do a lot more than that is actually shoot. So how about we take this thing out and do some shooting?
Let's go.
Let's roll.
Let's go.
So this is a right to left rabbit. Look at the center of the rabbit. Mount the gun smoothly, and now, there you go. We're gonna start with the barrel up. We're in a field position, not in a defensive position, okay?
All right.
All right. You just say pull, see it across the barrel, same speed, blow it up.
Pull.
If that had been going backwards, you'd have hit it. The front would be on the other side, okay? So remember, you saw that one down the barrel. And it's perfectly normal, because you're a rifle shooter and a pistol shooter, it's normal for you to want to see down this barrel. You're gonna have to see that bird to the right of the barrel, across the barrel.
Pull.
There you go. Rabbit stew. And this is why people love to shoot clay targets. You're making noise and breaking things.
Oh, that feels good. Pull. Pull. That
You
felt
saw
good.
it. You saw it,
Yeah.
didn't you? And you were in sync.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When you're in sync, the shotgun is very forgiving as long as it's in front.
Yeah.
Let's try one from the left.
Pull.
Easier picture, isn't it?
Much easier.
Do it again.
Pull. I don't even see the barrel anymore.
Well, what do you know? What do you know?
I train, I think, the most out of everyone on my team, maybe in the world. I don't know. I shoot anywhere from 500 to 1,000 rounds every day. I start about 8 in the morning and I go till about 3 in the afternoon. And I do a lot of drills and repetitions, making it like walking. So we really don't think about it when we step up there on the station. I think one of the greatest lines I've ever heard is, if you aren't willing to share your dream or your goal with anyone, then there is no sense or fear of failure. You know, if you aren't willing to put yourself out there and tell people what you're trying to do or what you're trying to achieve, you know, you'll never know if you're going to be successful or not, or you're not going to be, you won't have that sense of failure unless you put it out there. And so you have to be willing to take that chance. You have to be willing to put it on the line and really go for it, and, you know, let the chips lay where they may and see how they fall.
Go in the store. Then the next 3 years, I'll have my own business running itself. And I will do what I do best, is just compete and represent the company out there in the industry. But starting this company, I'm hoping to be able to flex my schedule enough where I can pursue that initial dream of being able to be at the top. There's a lot about the chase for me.
Yeah.
Chasing that next guy who's the best, who's coming up. And I've always been thrilled to know that the idols I used to idolize before have become my rivals, have become my friends. It throws me off. And at a certain point, I know there's someone right behind me, or just young, about 10 years younger than me, that's probably looking at me like, those guys were, and I want to beat that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen yet. So it's one of those things where I dry fire so much. As you can see, my hands, I don't shoot much. I haven't shot since September.
Yeah, but
and my hands are ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly because I'm dry firing so much, right?
Gotcha.
I had one customer here that came in and she's like, was that warts? And I said, no, ma'am, it's considered hard work. I said, she just laughed. I said, no, it's just, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's future really hope my family will be here.
Yeah.
It's, as a whole, right now it's missing, right? It's kind of empty. And I'll have this business, I'll be able to shoot, I'll be able to teach, and I'll be able to explore and share the knowledge, the passion that I have. And hopefully in the long run, it pays off.
Yeah.
It is an absolute pleasure of mine and true passion. But when I come in here, as stressed as I am, sometimes because I'm always running out of time.
Yeah.
I come home sitting there shaking my head going, I get to do this, and it's not work.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of just work, and they work for someone. Their stress is not correlated directly to them. It's stress is like working for somebody else. And I kind of wanted that opportunity to start my own business and see, and I'm also young enough to essentially fail.
Gotcha.
Not looking forward to failing, but I'm not afraid to fail.
You're not too old to fail and to be able to pick up the pieces. And
correct, yes.
I always say this, man. It's like people see what you do on YouTube, and then they kind of get a one-dimensional perspective about who you are. And before you were doing anything with YouTube, what were you doing? What was your plan in life? Or was this the plan from the very beginning?
You know, this definitely wasn't the plan. I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. Unfortunately, whenever I got to Hollywood and stuff, you go out there, you have to audition, you have to meet this person or do this. And I knew that was never going to get me anywhere. At the time, the internet videos were just kind of coming out and becoming popular. And so I started looking for ways to vent creatively like that. Ended up meeting Michael Gallagher from Totally Sketch, who was forming that channel and the sketch comedy group at that time. He ended up casting me in as one of the regulars. And that took off, got like the top 100 YouTube channels, and still that wasn't paying anything. So, yeah, I was still looking for ways to pay bills and everything. And I just told myself I can't have a pity party. I can't blame anybody but myself. So I just got to figure out a way to put my nose to the grind and go, because I knew YouTube was something I wanted to do. I just didn't have the resources and the money to do it. So I was bartending downtown, next to the Staples Center and everything. And I actually had a construction general contractor come in. He was really good at picking college football, and I could tell that he would bet a lot of money off of my picks because I was doing really well that year. And he's like, all right, well, I tell you what, if I give you a pick that I'm pretty certain, I mean, you can't be 100%, but pretty certain is going to cover the spread. If you win, you hire me on for 1 week at the construction site. If you like the way I work, if you like my work ethic, you keep me on. If you don't, I work that week for free, no sweat off of my back, but you at least try me out. So he tried me on. Within 3 months, I was a labor foreman there, and I didn't let up. I get up in the morning, I go work construction, 5 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon. I go home, I take a shower, I get back to the bar by 4:30, come back, bartend, and the guy who owned our house was a Caldwell banker, ended up asking me for different things here and there. So I proposed a couple of different businesses to him. So I had those 4 jobs, a few other ones. But the biggest thing that motivates me is probably the challenge itself. If I'm not being challenged, it's not the right job for me. Because for me, I never had to put off getting up to go work construction. I was interested in it. Like, I wanted to know why I needed to put this rebar here. I wanted to see them pour the 28th floor. I wanted to see these different things. So for me, it was, whenever I was bartending, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation, the people coming in. You get up because it's something you enjoy. It's not necessarily something that you loathe.
Which is true, very true. And people ask me all the time, you get burned out? I'm like, I get stressed. Yeah, I get stressed like every other person. I got a lot on my plate, but at the end of the day, I really do just love it. I get up and I'm doing something in regards to
you wake up in the morning and you piss excellent. I get it. I totally get it.
One of my biggest fears in life is that I'll wake up one day and realize I don't love what I do anymore. I've always had a passionate personality. When I get into something, I don't half-ass it. I go all in. However, guns, shooting, and Second Amendment advocacy has become my lifeblood, which has motivated me to improve myself in all other parts of my life. I get that this super positive self-help motivational diatribe seems an unlikely consequence from what many consider an unhealthy love affair with something they believe is the destroyer of worlds. But the results don't lie. Because of the gun, I've become a better version of myself, and there are scores of people in this country who would say the same thing about themselves. This season, I set out to show as much of that positive influence as much as I can. You can't watch this season and not see how guns positively impact people's lives and continue to do so. Trust me, if I completely understood why the gun is the catalyst for all of this, I would have said it at the beginning instead of devolving into flowery prose about self-improvement. However, I know the effects because they've happened to me, and I don't get to where I've gotten to without a ton of people agreeing with me.
Corrinne, you were kind of tuned in with the MPX because it's very close to what you usually shoot. You had 2 little pickup shots, but they're no big deal. It cost you maybe half a second. You got the tire over well. You're obviously pretty strong. Colin got off to a hard start with the shotgun. It just didn't seem to want to work for him very well.
Had to do the reload.
But then your pistol long shots were perfect. And then the sword of the cross. Shot the shotgun perfect. He was so in disbelief at how great it was. He's like,
Little brain
Oh,
freeze.
wait.
I'm glad that Taran didn't bring it up, but I had some real trouble with the tires. I was like, gotta get those fingers under the tire when you flip it. And I didn't get my fingers under the tire, and I kind of just palmed it and was like struggling, but not giving up. I think I should have given up. You guys handle it easily.
1 extra shot on pistol, that's where Colin got you there by maybe 3/4 of a second or so.
Sure.
Now here's my advice. It isn't about trying to haul ass and go fast. It's about being smooth.
Why'd you have to single me out?
Smooth. Just watch your sights, you'll be good. Stage 2, kind of a crazy one. I wouldn't say either team shot it the way they'd like to. It did hurt Jessica a little bit because she's running less rounds. She's a more powerful gun. But with that, she loses 3 rounds. So a couple times that caught her off guard, had to do standing reload. And like in the back, the LaRues, they're set really heavy, probably for like 308. So a lot of extra shots on those LaRues back there. That's really where LaHook lost a lot of time at the very, very end right there. Nomo, you guys are pretty solid in the first half. Everybody did take extra shots on the farther plate rack and all that, but that's where you guys gained some time there and just being able to get the steal over at the end. It's not like anybody shot really bad. It's just that maybe hitting too low on the LaRue too many times and not hitting them up at the head to knock them over is really where the difference was on this one. Stage 3 is a big, massive, all handgun stage. Corrinne was shredding on this stage, but she got body bagged by that stupid combo. So her shooting was stellar. Maybe it was stellar because she was like, I'm behind, whatever.
Yep.
So she had a great time on that one. Daren, you were even with her because you got the combo open before you got there.
It's my case. I've been using it for 15 years.
Total setup. Jessica, you were right there. Again, you ran empty because you had a 20-round mag versus 23. Kind of hurt you with a couple pickup shots. Colion just a little bit behind, lost a little bit of time on the combo, and a couple pickup shots on a guy over there. Well, let's move on to the next stage, you guys.
Yes, sir.
Going into stage 4, Nomo had nearly a 20-second lead. But even just one stage, everything can just be like right back on, and it kind of happened. Corrinne had an incident where the mag didn't seat all the way, fell in the dirt. Jessica's run was excellent. 1 little quarter second on just flipping the switch view, whatever. That's really not a big deal. Shooting the steel offhand at the end was great. I don't even know if there was there 1 pickup shot, maybe?
1 pickup shot on the first target, yep.
Yeah, Colion, you were getting on the trigger on the AR, just shredding backwards like a maniac. A little bit out of control, but you know what? It was out of control, in control, because you're hitting everything.
Except that he had
So
1 penalty shot on that.
Oh, did he?
He did have 1 miss.
Oh, no.
And that's what I was looking for.
So 1 no shoot, that hurt you a little bit. So after all that's said and done, it looks like you guys are almost even. We got 1 more stage left, the last one. This is it. It's basically like starting out with just a little bit of a lead. It's almost like all over again. It's so close, it's like just doing 1 stage. Kind of annoying.
This is the 5th and final stage of the challenge, so the team with the lowest total time at the end of this one goes home victorious. After 4 stages, it's almost a dead heat, with Corrinne Mosier and yours truly in the lead by 4 seconds over LaSorte and Jessica Hook. Here's how the final stage works. Each shooter's got to hit 12 times total, going in alternating 3-round bursts. Each turn, shooter 1 takes out 3 balloons with the Mossberg JM Pro shotgun. And shooter 2, using the 6-hour MPX, has to engage still targets 3 times at 100 yards. They will rotate positions after 6 hits. Now, let's get to it. Give me the crown already, right?
Shooter ready! Stand by! Go! Go!
Go!
Go!
Go!
Buzz it down!
Buzz it down.
Go! Go!
Go!
Go!
Done.
Shooters, ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
Go!
Go! Go! Buzz it down. Go! Go!
What did we need to win?
I don't know.
All right, guys, it's finally over. Last stage. It wasn't like the other stuff with these big, giant chunks of misery and then evening out on the next stage and chunks of misery again. This was down to the wire. Watching it, I couldn't tell who did better.
Go! Go!
I think the advantage might have been because they went second, they realized they saw a little gaff in the slowness of the relay of saying go.
Go!
So they were a little quicker. Maybe that's gaining a couple seconds each time.
So I know I was worried about communication, so we were just, we were perfect on our communication. That's what we wanted. So with perfection comes just a little bit of slowness.
What was your guys' mindset on the communication situation?
I was anticipating his go. So when he said it, I was ready and I was up.
Go!
They beat you guys on that last stage. Going into that, from yesterday's stage 4, you guys had a 4-second lead. But they didn't beat you by enough. You guys squeaked by with 2 seconds. So that's pretty wild. I mean, you couldn't plan that close if you tried. Team Nomo, no more stages to shoot. Team Nomo won. So good job, you guys. Awesome.
It was fun, you guys. I realized how much I miss competitive shooting when I do that stuff. I mean, obviously, we were just doing this for fun. You guys weren't winning a bunch of money or anything, but wow.
No?
I mean, it was too fun. Too fun.
No more for you,
where was the
You're
cash,
out.
I promise? Yeah.
That's it. Another year, maybe again.
Yeah. All right.
Shut down.
Can I get an ice cream cone or something?
So here we are, guys, the finale.
Yeah.
Yay! Try not to be so excited.
No.
No, but I don't necessarily mean we have to recap the entire season, but kind of what, like, if you were going to walk away with one thing in particular, what would that be from your experience here? Because we've literally chained you down and made you watch all 8 episodes.
Yeah, you did. Well, you suck at ski shooting.
The fact that you feel like you need to reiterate that every 2 minutes is kind of worrisome.
It's just really a relevant thing. Like, honestly, you really sucks. Like, I kind of put my life in your hands when I went to the shooting range with you, and if I knew you sucked that badly, I totally would have thought twice about it or found someone else.
Different skill sets. Different skill sets.
I don't know. I need a little bit more assurance.
I've
Maybe I
skeet
should have gone
shooted
out.
before, and it is not easy. And it is
I can imagine
fun.
it's not.
It is a lot of fun.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he said that it's like one of the things he enjoys most, I was like,
Yeah.
that explains a lot.
Yeah. And when you do finally hit it, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's what I honestly, truly, like, I don't think that you were a bad shooter. I know for sure. We've already seen that my shooting skills are non-existent.
That's because you refuse to come back to the range.
Whoa. I will not say I refuse. I will say I will not like to. But anyway, but honestly, I think one of my major takeaways is it's a lot of passionate people in the firearms kind of culture. And I think the culture aspect is something I'll definitely take away. Like, there is so much artistry and passion behind it with Rob Bianchi.
Yeah.
And the guns, amazing. Jesse James, amazing. And my sensei, JJ, like, seriously, he is a inspirational person in general. I think even this episode, he said something that was really, it spoke to me, and it was about the fact that people get stressed out about things that aren't even related to them directly. They're related to their jobs.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, like, if you really, really think about it, guns and shooting and firing, like, the fact that he's going out behind his house and, like, dry firing, like, 200 or 300 times a night, like, that's passion. Like, what is it that I would do for 200, well, not even do, I would practice doing it. I would practice the act of doing it and not even get that full action 200 times. Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
I think the beautiful thing about passion is it's hard to understand if you don't have it.
Yeah.
And for that particular set of passion. You can have passion somewhere else and you can understand that because it's your passion there. You know, sometimes I can be out, like, my natural state of being now is when I'm stressed out and I won't even think it's unconscious. I'll go home, pull out guns and just start tinkering.
Sure.
From the outside perspective, someone watching me is like, what is he getting ready for? And in my mind, it's just,
I used to be that person, but now, like, seeing it, I get it. Like, that's a calm state, and it's not even single-minded. I think it's just really genuinely a calm state. Like, my calm place is in my bed. I think your calm place is on the range or, you know, with a gun in your hand. And I think that a lot of the notions that I have about the negativity or the problems behind that, I don't really have anymore. I just honestly can't see how anyone who respects passion or who knows what a real passion feels like can say to someone, that's your passion, but nah. Like, I just can't, so.
I really want to thank you and the association and our audience for allowing us to have this conversation. I mean, we came to the table knowing that we were going to have opposing points of view, talking about an intractable subject that really, and I think we come up against the same barriers time and time again. And I don't know what the solution is. I think, and I think we both came to this in good faith to see if we could find something in our conversation. And I think, you know, what I take away from this is a greater level of understanding of your and the community's passion for freedom. You know, I mean, this is fundamentally what it's all about.
It really is.
And as a foreigner, to understand the Constitution, which because of this show, I read and studied and became more familiar with, and understanding the history behind that and where that came from. You know, let's say gun violence is a problem, but
it is.
This is also what makes America great.
It is. And in reading some of the comments about the show, one of the comments, some of the comments that stand out the most are the people who just appreciate the fact that we are able to have this conversation the way you just expounded on. Because largely that's not what happens, at least in the media.
Right.
And it does not only the topic a disservice, it does this country a disservice. Because I think what we've got to come back to, another component that makes America great, is to be able to disagree civilly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day...
Joyfully, even.
Right, yeah. Because, I mean, I respect you, I respect your position, I respect you, which is why I'm here talking to you.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't respect you, or you really, just for what?
Yeah.
There's no point.
Exactly.
And you know, like I said, like my goal wasn't to convert you all.
Of course.
Sure, I would love to walk away and say, ha ha,
got one.
I did that. But you know, overall, the one thing you said that stood out was you have a better understanding, right?
Right.
And for me, that's everything, because you don't have to agree with me, just to understand it.
Right.
You know, puts you at least in a position for me to then further respect your opinion of disagreeing with me.
Right.
And vice versa.
I never thought that that you would come to this with the same sort of attitude that someone with from the gay rights movement were about feeling oppressed and being in the closet. What you were saying in I think it was episode 3 about what it felt like when you first got your CHL and started wearing a gun for the first time, and I was like, huh. Okay, yeah, I can see how you'd feel that, and also, you know, that we're also wrapped up in ourselves, that nobody's looking at your piece, right?
Yeah. No one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. They're all too busy, worried about themselves.
But I think that's kind of my general approach to life. Like you know me, I really don't care a lot about other people. I'm really, so much of me is just enough to deal with. I don't need to worry about others.
That I can attest to.
No, but seriously, like I really think that, like no one cares. It's kind of not that no one cares, but also I'm very liberal in every other aspect of my life, and the fact that I was kind of drawing this line around guns, I really had to stop and think about it. And like I think it started with me going to the range, but also these conversations. Like, what am I really against right here? And I think it's, you know, obviously the gun violence, and that's still something to be kind of discussed and worked on, but it isn't necessarily the ownership aspect.
Tell me if you think I'm right about this. From your, as far as you in your position, I felt like, and this is from the very first time, before we even got here, I think largely because you have this kind of inherent apathy to the outside world. However, you are very smart, very observant. So I think for you, there was this idea of, I think you could sense the passion in me. And you didn't get it. You were like, I don't really understand this. I don't really care enough to sit down and really talk to you about it.
Yeah.
But if he's gonna bring this conversation to me, I'm gonna poke at it enough to see if he can explain it to me enough where I can get it.
It's like your Taylor Swift obsession. Like, I can't stand her, and I think she's incredibly overrated and mediocre. But at the same time, like, you know, she plays instruments and she writes shit or whatever, and it's sophomoric, but she writes it, and that's cool.
Oh, incredibly sophomoric.
So that's the value. And it's like, I can't stand her, but I get why you like her. So you can have it. Same thing with this, like literally the exact same. And I know it's probably problematic to someone that's
However, the Constitution is not sophomoric. I'm joking.
So,
it's not, but I'm joking.
Don't disrespect my Constitution. I love the Constitution.
You're joking, but you're not.
Don't disrespect my Constitution. But yeah, no, that's really, honestly, I kind of had to put things in that kind of perspective.
Yeah.
So you're definitely right. Like, I'm very apathetic. And so I was kind of like, why are you pressed like church pants? Sexy gun. Like, literally one of the first conversations we ever had, you called a gun sexy. I was like, yo, this one here.
Here's the crazy thing about that. I remember, I think was the first conversation at Kevin's house?
It was at brunch. We wear brunch.
Gotcha. And I largely, in those settings, try to avoid those conversations.
Do you really? I love them.
I know. I'm talking about the gun conversation. Because for me, in those settings, I know what's going to happen. It's going to take over the entire setting.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I remembered about you, though.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of selfish. So I try to stay off of it. But sometimes when people flip that switch, it's like, all right, come on.
I don't think I put that switch. I think you just said you worked with NRA, and then we kind of it went from there.
And you're not going to suffer an argument that you inherently disagree with without an answer to it.
But also to your credit, I don't think he would suffer a conversation with someone who's not opinion that, it's not that you cared about my opinion, but you knew you're not going to have a battle of wits with someone who's unarmed.
Yeah.
So I think that's really a lot lot of kudos to us.
Thank you.
But I think that was a lot of it.
That was some serious self-stroking right there.
Damn right. After putting up with this all season, we deserve it.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people who are even more anti than you are who wouldn't even think to come sit down at this table.
Well, they probably aren't thinking clearly enough to do so.
Well, I welcome the opportunity, and I'm very glad that we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
It's a wrap.